Hey YouTube, tonight we're going to be testing the M12 high output batteries that just came out this year. We're going to be having both the XC 5.0 and the CP 2.5 here to test tonight, and we're going to be putting them against a variety of other M12 batteries through 3 different tools to see if we can see a performance difference on these tools using the high output batteries. So let's get right into that on Tinker with Tools. So earlier this year at one of their press events, Milwaukee announced the new M12 high output batteries. And the high output line includes 2 different batteries, as I mentioned before. You have first high output CP 2.5 and the high output XC 5.0. Now these batteries are virtually identical in their form factor to the batteries that they are now superseding in the lineup, if you will. The 5.0 is going to be nearly identical in shape and size to the 4 and the 6, even the XC 3.0, whereas the CP 2.5 is going to be similar in size to the CP 1.5, the 2.0, and even that CP 3.0 that they've had before. Now they didn't actually add any extra cells. It's not like these batteries have 21700 cells in them. They wouldn't actually fit into the handle of the battery if they used anything larger. So the way that they're claiming to get around it is, one, using higher quality cells, which potentially could give you a better discharge rate on the existing cells. And then the other one is they're claiming 25% better cooling, which allows the battery to maintain its power for longer, potentially, by not having heat be the thing that kind of kills your battery. So we're going to go ahead and test these on 3 different tools in a variety of tests tonight. We're going to be doing it with the impact driver, the brand new Gen 3 M12 fuel impact driver. We're going to be going with the brand new Gen 3 fuel hammer drill. And then we also have their M12 fuel oscillating multi-tool. We're going to be putting that through some tests to see if we can gain any sort of performance benefit from being on these batteries. Hopefully we'll do enough tests that we'll be able to see the difference in it and be able to tell you, is there a performance benefit to being on these batteries? So let's go ahead and show you some specs and pricing on the screen and get right into the testing. All right, so first off, we are going to be running a CP 2.0 that is fresh off our charger. We do have 4 bars there. We are just going to be in speed 3 for all these tests. We're first going to run 2 3.5-inch deck screws. We're going to do this for the 2.0, the 2.5, and the 4.0. Alright, so after the 3.5-inch screws, the 2.0 definitely felt the slowest. I don't know that I could really tell the difference between the 2.5 and the 4.0. Now, Milwaukee is in no way claiming that the 2.5 is necessarily going to be hitting up there with the 4.0. We're just doing this so you can get a feel for where on the spectrum it hits. Alright, now following sort of a natural progression, we're going to go to a 4-inch GRK. All right, so once again, in those tests, the 2.0 definitely felt the slowest. The 2.5 and the 4.0 felt fairly similar. I'm going to guess in this test that the 4.0 did actually come out victorious, probably in that first one too. But it definitely feels closer to the 4.0 than it does to the 2.0. All right, and now a 5-inch timber lock. On the 2.0, we are down to 2 bars now. 2.5, still at 4 bars. XC 4.0, 4 bars. All right, and now the last of our tests with the impact driver, we are going to do a 5-inch SPAX. So with the driving test done, I think it's safe to say the 2.5 does make sense on something smaller like the impact driver, and it is a noticeable improvement over the 2.0. Now let's go ahead and see how some of the bigger batteries fare on the hammer drill, We're going to do 2 driving tests and a couple of drilling tests to see how it shakes up on the hammer drill. We are going to be testing the brand new Gen 3 M12 fuel hammer drill. We are going to be using a 4.0 battery that is 4 bars. This is a different 4.0 than we used on the impact driver. The XC 5.0, it is full bars, and the 6 amp hour is 4 bars. We're going to be first driving a 6-inch Spax. The tool is set in drill mode on speed 2. So you can see it did bog down with the 4.0. The 5.0 did bog down, but I don't think to the same degree or as soon as what the 4 amp hour. All right, and now we're gonna do a 6-inch timber lock. So we are getting a cutout with the 6 amp hour. We did not get a cutout with the others. So interesting. An interesting result for sure. I felt like the difference between the 2.0 and the 2.5 was pretty noticeable when using the tool. The difference between the 4 and the 5 and the 6 is much less perceivable, but interestingly enough, we're getting a cutout on the 6 using the same test, same tool. We'll go ahead and go on to the drilling test and then the oscillating multi-tool test to see if we see anything else. All right, and now the drilling test with the hammer drill. And we're gonna be doing a 5/8" Bosch Daredevil through a standard 4x4. And now a 1-inch Diablo Speed Demon. Interestingly enough, we are seeing cutouts on those higher batteries. Obviously the tool is a factor here. I am not seeing a huge performance difference with the 5.0 just by feel. So now we are gonna cut through 2 16-penny nails with each battery. We have the 2, the 2.5, the 4, the 5, and the 6. We are using a multi-material blade from Milwaukee. It is a titanium blade. All right, so if I'm being honest, other than that first 2 amp hour, I didn't really feel too noticeable a difference between those. I don't think it made as big of a difference in this test as maybe what we saw with the smaller batteries on the impact driver. All right, so what did we learn after all that test? Well, if I'm being completely honest with you, the CP 2.5 felt like it was an upgrade from the CP 2.0. It felt more on the level with that XC 4.0. In terms of power, I get that it's not going to have the runtime that that battery will have, but in simple terms of it feeling more powerful than the 2.0, it was there, it was noticeable, and so I think this one gets a pass. The 5.0, I kind of feel like is a mixed bag. I feel like the M12 tools, especially the hammer drill, get a significant bump in power and performance when you move to the XC battery. I just didn't feel like this XC battery necessarily stood out in terms of using it firsthand to be significantly better than the 4.0. Now, obviously, we'll put the results on the screen. You'll know what the times were, but I just think in terms of raw testing, it just wasn't that noticeable which one was going to be faster. It could very well come out that the 5.0 was the fastest battery. I just have my doubts that that'll be the case. Honestly, the 4.0 performed better than I thought it would in terms of how it went up against the 5.0 and the 6.0. That was probably one of the big surprises there, is there really wasn't a noticeable difference in performance among the XC batteries. Only the time will be able to tell us. Now, that is not the only reason to consider these batteries. These batteries are made of a different plastic that is supposed to fatigue less under use, but also it has been claimed that it will be more resistant to certain oils and stuff, especially that you're going to find if you're using these tools for mechanics work and stuff like that. Different oils and greases that you're going to be getting on them there. They should be more resistant to breaking down than the previous materials on the other tools. The less fatigue, hopefully that helps with some of the batteries just kind of working their way out, those clips coming loose. So if you liked what you saw tonight, go ahead and hit that like button. If you have questions or comments about these batteries, or if there's a particular test you'd like to see done with these batteries, Go ahead and leave that in the comments down below. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to mark the bell notification so you can get notified when I put out a new video and you don't miss a single one. Thanks for watching at this time of year. Hope you have a happy holidays and Merry Christmas, and I'll catch you next time on Tinker with Tools.